Hi kids, today we want to talk about grammar. I really like to write, so I need to have good grammar. Let's begin. Alright kids, let's do 12 verb tenses, Book A. Okay kids, today we are going to talk about the past perfect tense. The past perfect tense is had plus PP. Remember, past participle is PP. Remember when we studied the verbs, for example, eat, ate, eaten. Eaten is past participle, PP. Okay, the past perfect tense is very useful when we're talking about things that happened in the past. It kind of puts things in order. What happened first? All right, let's read the example here of how to use the past perfect tense. Number 1, use for an action completed before a special point of time in the past. All right, let's read the example and then I will draw the sentence for you. A, had he played hockey before the exams? B, yes, he had played hockey before the exams. All right, well, let's draw that. All right, first we have here action A. Action A. And that action A was playing hockey. He played hockey. Okay? Now, there's another action here. He had exams. Exams. So here are the exams. This is event or a time. And that was the exams. Okay, so he starts playing hockey. Hockey is finished. It's finished. Hockey's over. It stopped. Hockey is over. It stopped. When this is stopped, it's over, then we get this next event happening, the exams. Had he played hockey before the exams? Had played? Yes, he had played hockey before the exams. Because I used the past perfect, had played, I know that had played hockey happened first, and before the exam started, hockey was finished. Again, we are looking at two events. One action started in the past, it finished, it stopped, it's over, and that stopped before an event. For example, the exams. All right, let's look at a negative sentence. Had she taken her exams before playing soccer? The event is playing soccer. The action is taking the exams. No, she hadn't taken her exams before playing soccer. Okay, so once again, we have an action that happens before an event or a time in the past. Okay? Okay, once again, the past perfect tense, had plus PP. Remember, PP is past participle. In the example, to eat, eat, ate, eaten. Eaten is the past participle. All right, number 2. An action was completed before another action could begin. Okay, that's easy. Let's read the sentence. Had Mary read the book before she watched the film? Okay, look, we have two actions. Had Mary read the book? That's action number 1. and before she watched the film. Okay, there are two different actions here. So, action A. Action A. That action, it started, and it finished, and when it finished, this action B could start. Action B could start. And it finished. All of this happened in the past. Again, we have action A. Action A started in the past. It finished. As soon as it finished, action B could start. Action B starts and it finishes in the past. So, how do we differentiate between action A and action B? Action A is going to be had plus PP, and action B is going to be the simple past. So look, had Mary read the book? That's had plus PP. This happened first, before she watched the film. Watched, ED, that's simple past. Yes, she had read the book before she watched the film. Let's do a negative sentence. Had they watched the film before they read the book? Again, here is the first action. Had they watched the film? This is action B, before they read the book. No, they hadn't watched the film before they read the book. That's a negative sentence. No, they hadn't watched the film before they read the book. Again, two things are happening. Two actions. Action A, action B. Action A started, it finished. As soon as action A finished, action B started, and action A then finished. All of this in the past. Okay, past perfect tense, had plus PP. Number 3. Shows a non-continuous verb started in the past and continued up until another action in the past. All right, remember the non-continuous verbs. English has many verbs that are non-progressive. There is no verb ing. For example, I have a dog. I do not say I am having a dog. That is wrong. I have a dog. We do not say I am loving you. We say I love you. These are examples of non-continuous verbs. You cannot have a progressive verb on that verb. You can't have the ing on that verb. All right. So again, we have a non-continuous verb started in the past and continued up until another action in the past. All right. So let's look at this sentence. A. How long had you had that car before it broke down? So you have a car, okay, and the car broke down. So we have two things here, two things going on. First, here, action, this one. I buy a car. And the past tense is bought. I bought this car. Okay? And I drove this car for a long time. I drove this car for a long time. And then it finally, here, it broke down. It broke. This is telling us how long. Okay? Now, this verb is going to be had plus PP. And this verb is going to be simple past. the verb we have is have. Have does not have a progressive. I just said, I have a dog, not I am having a dog. So, how long had you had that car before it broke down? All right, see, it broke down, simple past, okay? I had that car for 10 years before it broke down. There's have, okay? All right, so very easy. We have two actions. The first action is non-continuous, having a car, and it goes up to a certain point it's still in the past, but it's in this future. All right, okay, again, past perfect tense, had plus PP. Okay, now, we talked about mixed verbs before. These verbs can be used with different tenses that have the same meaning. Usually when we talk about a verb tense, it has a specific meaning. But with these mixed verbs, we can use two different verb tenses, but they have the same meaning. This is why sometimes American kids are confused. What tense is this? What should I use here? Well, especially with the mixed verbs. Now, in Taiwan, your teacher will teach you these three mixed verbs: study, live, or teach. So number 4, shows a mixed verb, study, live, or teach, started in the past and continued up until another action in the past. All right, so let's read the sentence. Had Mary lived in Taipei before she moved to the U.S.? Okay? Yes, she had lived in Taipei before she moved to the U.S. All right, so here's the first action. Living in Taipei. And the second one, moved to the USA. Now, you're thinking, well, how else could we say this? Well, you could say, did Mary live in Taipei before she moved to the USA? You could use this simple past. Did Mary live in Taipei before she moved to the US? Or you could use the past perfect. Had Mary lived in Taipei before she moved to the USA? That confuses American students because they think, well, which is the best answer? Well, I personally like past perfect tense, but you could also use the simple past. All right, so again, here we have Mary. Here she started living in Taipei, and here she left Taipei. So here she lived in Taipei, right? She lived in Taipei. Remember, she started living here. She started living here. Here she left. And when she left Taipei, she moved to the U.S. So she moved, and she's still probably living in the U.S. Okay? So, live is a very special verb. It's a mixed verb. Okay? So again, had Mary lived in Taipei before she moved to the USA? Yes, she had lived in Taipei before she moved to the USA. Let's look at a negative sentence. Had they taught math in China before they went to the USA? No, they hadn't taught math in China before they went to the USA. Again, teach is a mixed verb. We could also have said, did they teach math in China before they went to the USA? See, I could use the simple past. I like the past perfect better, but you could also use the simple past. All right, very good. Okay, exercise 2. Use the past perfect and simple past to make negative sentences. Okay, remember, we have two actions happening here. Okay? The first action, we are going to use the past perfect. The second action will be simple past. The simple past. So let's color the second action first. So the police, blah, 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 to chase him. Number 2, the canary, blah, 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 to fly away. 3, when the boys and I, blah, 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 to come home. 4, so he, blah, 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 to be alone on Friday evening. 5, before I, blah, 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 to meet her in Spain. 6, Mr. Brown, blah, 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 to tell me that. 7, so she, blah, 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 not understand the film. 8, so they, blah, 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 can, to spend the cash on a trip. Number 9, I, not to forget my keys this morning. And number 10, so we, blah, 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 to lose the match. All right, let's color the verbs. Number 1, to stop, to chase. Number 2, to fly away, to close. Number 3, to come, to paint. Number 4, to invite, to be. Number 5, to see, to meet. Number 6, to tell, to speak. Number 7, to read, to understand. Number 8, to buy, to spend. Number 9, to forget, to put. Number 10, to practice, to lose. All right, let's take our pink. We have some special ones here. Right here. Can. Can. The past tense of can is could. And we also have a be verb here. We have a be verb number, where's the be verb? Here, number 4. So that is he. The subject is he. And all of these are not. These are all going to be negative sentences. So, not, 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 not. Okay, let's begin. Number 1, to stop. Stop, stopped, stopped. To chase. Chase, chased, chased. The driver hadn't stopped at the traffic lights, so the police chased him. The driver hadn't stopped at the traffic lights, so the police chased him. Number 2, to fly away. Fly, flew, flown. To close. Close, closed, closed. The canary flew away because Jim hadn't closed the window. The canary flew away because Jim hadn't closed the window. Number 3, to come. Come, came, come. To paint. Paint, painted, painted. When the boys and I came home, Frank hadn't painted the ceiling yet. When the boys and I came home, Frank hadn't painted the ceiling yet. Number 4, to invite. Invite, invited, invited. Subject he, so is, was, been. Eric hadn't invited his pals to his house, so he was alone on Friday evening. Eric hadn't invited his pals to his house, so he was alone on Friday evening. Number 5, to see, saw, seen. To meet, meet, met, met. I hadn't seen Olivia for 3 years before I met her in Spain. I hadn't seen Olivia for 3 years before I met her in Spain. Number 6, to tell, told. To speak, spoke, spoken. Mr. Brown told me that he hadn't spoken to his bro the other day. Mr. Brown told me that he hadn't spoken to his bro the other day. 7, to read, read. To understand, understood. Liz hadn't read the book, so she didn't understand the film. Liz hadn't read the book, so she didn't understand the film. Number 8, the Lyns. Remember I talked about this. The name is Lynn. There's an S on it, and that means everybody in the Lynn family. The Lyns, to buy, bought. To spend, spent. But we have a helping verb here. The helping verb is can. The past tense of can is could. Remember, could plus the verb. That verb is not past tense. The Lyns hadn't bought the car, so they could spend the cash on a trip. The Lyns hadn't bought the car, so they could spend the cash on a trip. Number 9, forget. Forgot, forgotten. Put, to put. I didn't forget my keys this morning because I had put them next to my bed last night. I didn't forget my keys this morning because I had put them next to my bed last night. Number 10, to practice. Practiced. Lose, lost. We hadn't practiced enough, so we lost the match. We hadn't practiced enough, so we lost the match. Again, remember, in each of these sentences, 2 actions are occurring. The first action is past perfect, had plus PP. The second action is simple past. Okay, kids, thank you for watching this video. Now I need you to do a big favor for me. I want you to like this video. And I want you to leave a comment for me. I want you to write, "Thank you, Mr. Radisha," and then leave your English name. Really appreciate it. Thanks.